wherever you're watching from, I want you to know I'm in the backyard between Stockwell and Brixton. I guess in London you can't get any blacker than Brixton, can you? Oh. Me people them, I do have the first you now. I know me no say una sit down ya the wait for me. Na passa de passo, I come on se fado. But hey, see una don't sit down so me at on cool. Oh oh, me at school. Oh oh, me at don't go now. Me at school. Oh oh, me at don't go now. And so what I want to do with all of us is to go on a little journey. I want us to go on a journey, travel all the way to the land of Africa. I want us to travel far back. Travel so far back to go all the way to my village. I'm happy. I'm glad to see you now. Me at school. I'm glad to see you now. So, I want to drop for you my first story. This is a very short story I love to use usually to open. Since there's quite a few storytellers in here, let me see if you can help me with this one. Well, there were 3 storytellers, and these 3 storytellers were on their way. And as they were going on their way, the 3 of them, they met right there at Brixton Junction. Well, they met at Brixton Junction, these 3 storytellers. And the first storyteller, he stood up and he says, I am the best storyteller. And the second storyteller, he also stood up. He says, I am the best storyteller. And the third storyteller also stood up. He says, I am the best storyteller. Well then, what do? They decided to engage in a storytelling competition. And as they engaged in this competition, the first storyteller, he stood up, he looked at the other 2, he says, in, and they all answered, out. And he says, in, and they answered, out. He says, well, me, I was on my way. And as I was going, right there at Brixton Junction, on my way going, because I had heard of World Storytelling Cafe. As I was going, right there at Brixton Junction, I saw something my eyes could not describe. I saw something my tongue could not describe. Right there at Brixton Junction, there, I saw 2 pigeons. And these 2 pigeons, they were arguing. I mean, they were arguing bitterly. They were arguing so much black or white, black matters or white matter or green matter or dark matter. They were arguing so bitterly, the 2 of them, that the first pigeon got angry. He grabbed hold of the second pigeon and swallowed him. Well, not only that, the second pigeon also got so angry, grabbed hold of the first pigeon and swallowed him as well. Well, that was the story of the first storyteller. And so the second storyteller, he also stood up. He says, "Is that what you got?" He said, "Let me tell you something. I also have a story." He says, "In," and they all answered, "Out." He says, "In," they answered, "Out." He says, "Well, me too. I was on my way. I was on my way because I had heard of World Storytelling Cafe." He says, "On my way because I had heard of the World Storytelling Cafe on my way as I was going right there at Brixton Junction. There, I saw something my eyes cannot describe. I saw something my tongue cannot describe. Right there at the Brixton Junction, I saw a man. And this man, he had cut his head and he's swallowing his head in his mouth." And he said, "What?" He says, "That's my story." Well, the third storyteller, he says, "All right then, let me tell you something." He says, "Me too, I have a story for you." He says, "In," and they all says, "Out." He says, "In," they says, "Out." He says, "Well, me too, I was on my way because I had heard of World Storytelling Cafe. On my way as I was going right there at Brixton Junction, right there at Brixton Junction, there as the sirens were going out in Brixton Junction, there, right there as the siren was passing." And I want you to understand that I never tell a lie. All my stories are true. As the siren was passing by, there, the siren was carrying an old woman. They were carrying an old woman. And this old woman, the reason why now an ambulance is carrying her away, do you want to know? Let me tell you why an ambulance is carrying this old woman away. Because this old woman, she was so old, but on her head, she was carrying her house. She was carrying her farm. She was carrying her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren. She was even carrying her limousine. And this woman, on top of that, she was carrying all the statues that have been brought down, both in Bristol and also in Belgium. He carried all of those statues on his head. And I said, "Old woman, where are you going carrying all of these things?" And the woman, she says, "My son," he says, "I have just heard of two pigeons where the first one swallowed the second one and the second one swallowed the first one. And not only that, I heard of a man who had cut his head. He's swallowing it in his mouth. And on top of that, I heard that these two pigeons were arguing black and white. Me, all these things I've carried on my head. I'm running away out of this place. So who is the best storyteller?" I leave that one for you to answer that one by the time the show is finishing. Now, question, Mr. Technician, can you hear any extra sound at all? Any extra music? Nothing. Only my voice you can hear, right? Only my voice. Fantastic. Okay, very good, very good, very good. I'm sure Baden is hearing something else. That is why he's hearing something else. But it's all right. And I don't know, is that Lizzie? Lizzie, I know Lizzie is hearing something else as well. But don't worry about Baden, okay? I'm happy. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy. I'm happy to see you. Now, before I take you on to go and meet my grandmama, I want you to meet my grandmama Foyri. My grandmama, she has an amazing story to share with you all. And so, I want to know the name of the young lady who's sitting out there with my sound engineer. That young lady listening and watching. If you know her name, please send her name via text, via the chat. Let me see her name. And so I'm ready. I hope you're ready for this story, because now I want to take you all the way deep into my village in Sierra Leone. Because in Sierra Leone, when my grandma comes to tell a story, she says, Mborobina, and your answer is Yakumpa, Yakampa, Yakbodo. Mborobina, Yakumpa, Yakampa, Yakbodo. All right? So that's how you would answer. But my grandma has this story for you. There was an old woman who had a beautiful garden. A beautiful garden like this one you see I have here. I mean, everything was in her garden. I mean, everything you wanted was in this old woman's garden. You want coconuts? Let me show you. If you want coconut, here, there was coconut as well. I'm telling you my stories, I never lie. I never lie in my stories. There's coconut. I mean, what else do you want? You want a bit of flour so you can go and do romance with your loved one? Look here, I've even got roses as well. This woman's garden was well equipped. But on top of that, I mean, what else do you want? You know, you want pampering. You want, like, if you want to get some manicure, come to this garden. You can also get your manicure, your pedicure, your nails, everything. I mean, this woman's garden was just right. You think of the most delicious mango, it was growing in her garden. Think of the most delicious tongue-tangling oranges, it was growing. Even some delicious rice and peas, it was all in her garden. But she had one problem. And her one problem was a tiny little mouse that would not get its tiny little legs off this lady's garden. Every single day, this mouse would creep into this lady's garden, will nibble on the yam, nibble on the cocoa, nibble on the potato, nibble on the coconut, nibble on this. And one day, the lady got fed up and said, enough is enough. She came with the police, as you can hear them now. She says, enough is enough. I am coming. She came with the police. She came with all of them with riot gear. They looked for the mouse. They looked for the mouse. They looked for the mouse, but they could not find this mouse. So eventually, the lady decided to set a trap. She put a trap in the middle of the garden, but she did not realize that this mouse was a little bit smarter. As she was putting the trap in the garden, the mouse was passing by. When the mouse saw the lady putting the trap, and the mouse, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. What kind of nonsense is this? How can this lady do this? How do you expect me to eat now? No, 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 no. Oh, good. And while Mouse is thinking what to do, Mouse came up with an idea. Mouse decided to go and meet his 3 best friends for help. Mouse went off happy that this problem, we are going to solve it today. He rushed off to his first best friend, Cow. Hello, Cow. Hello, Cow. Hello, Cow. Cow. Yeah, what? Yeah, what? What is it? Cow, there's a problem. There's a really big problem. There's a trap in the garden. Please help me get rid of the trap. Please, or else there will be big trouble here. Girl, let me tell you something here. Let me tell you something, Mouse. You understand? Look, you see, hey, where I am, I eat grass. You understand me? Eh? I eat grass. You understand? I don't mess in that garden. You understand me? I don't mess in that garden. No, I mean, right? So please go solve your problem. In fact, do you see how big my neck is? Yeah, it will never be caught in that trap. It's not for me, okay? So please go sort your problem out. Cow would not help. I mean, Mouse was hungry. Mouse was hungry. And meanwhile, the police were going around. We were. They were looking for Mouse. And Mouse, he ran off barely to his next best friend, Goat. Hello, Goat. Hello, Goat. Hello, God, there's a problem. There's a really big problem. Meh, what? Meh, look here, meh, what's the problem? Meh, what? Meh, what? God, there's a problem because there's a trap in the garden. Please help me. Help me get rid of the trap or else there'll be big trouble here. Meh, let me tell you right now. Meh, let me tell you, meh, you know what I mean, right? Look here, let me tell you, right? You see, mean, right? Meh, look here, meh, you see, as far as I'm concerned, right? Meh, I grass, meh, it's really wrong. Look, let me tell you, okay, meh, as far as I'm concerned, okay, meh, you see how big my neck is, right? Meh, my neck, yeah, never made for that trap, okay? Meh, as far as I'm concerned, right? No, please go sort your problem out. Go sort it out, all right? Meh, meh. Goats would not help. Mouse was so hungry. Mouse, his stomach was touching his spine. Mouse could barely crawl to meet his third best friend, Chicken. Hello, Chicken. Hello, Chicken. Look, let me tell you. I heard about you already. I heard you were coming. Please, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, all food matters, all right? Everybody matters. So please don't come to me here with your own issue. I matter, you matter. So you go sort out with your own matter. As far as I'm concerned, don't come here with your issue. Take it elsewhere. Yeah, as far as I fly, I will never step on that trap. It's none of my business. As far as I'm concerned, please sort out your own problem. Chicken wouldn't help. Mouse, he was so hungry. He walked away, lay down. My old man is a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears old blind meat trousers and he lives in a council flat. Oh, my old man is a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears old blind meat trousers and he lives in a council flat. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountains, coming round the mountains, coming round the mountain when she comes. Down away where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on my sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. I won't be back for many a days. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Oh, it's a day, oh. Daylights come and me one go home. Day-ho, day-ho. Daylights come and me one go home. Day-ho, daylights come and me one go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylights come and me one go. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylights come and me one go home. If you call a woman, African woman, no go grey. She go say, I be lady, oh. You call a woman, African woman, no go grey. She go say, I be lady, oh. Yarin it, oh ya bailar, mi vi, la 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 la. Baby, I like it like that. Well, everybody liked it like that, except Mr. Snake. Because as time passed by, Mr. Snake was hungry. Mr. Snake had heard gossip that Mouse was vulnerable. And so Mr. Snake, he thought to himself, this is my time. This is my time. And Mr. Snake, happy, sliding and sliding through the garden. And as he's going sliding and sliding through the garden, he did not see the trap. The trap caught hold of Mr. Snake. And as he caught hold of Mr. Snake, he lay down there. Oh, God, this is so damn painful. God, I think I'm just going to lay down and pretend to be dead. And so Mr. Snake lay down pretending to be dead. The fruits and vegetables were all looking nice. Everything was growing nice. The mangoes were fresh. Big cherry mangoes were fresh. Laberry mangoes were fresh. Sheeptoe mangoes were fresh. Shokoto yokoto leaves were fresh. Potato leaves were fresh. The corns were fresh. Everything, including even the fish and chips vegetables, all was fresh. If you've never seen fish and chips vegetables, well, it is in this woman's garden. Everything was fresh. So the lady thought, you know something? Now that the lockdown is finished, I might as well go out so I can get some fruits and vegetables from my garden, and I can come and prepare food for my 10 sons and 10 daughters. And the sun was up. Lockdown gone, finish. The lady, she came out. She didn't even bother to put a mask on. She just came out to the garden. And she's picking mango. She's picking aubergine. She's picking jakato. She's picking gibilox. She's picking all of this different stuff. She did not see the snake. She stepped on the snake. The snake bit the lady and put so much poison, and the lady fell down and died instantly. Iku bolaja o. Bolaja. Iku Iku bolaja o. Bolaja. Allah ngolewa. Ngolewa. Baba ode iku. Death has come. Now, I don't know how you do it in your country, wherever you may be. I don't know. But back there in Sierra Leone, where this woman had passed away with 10 sons and 10 daughters of her age and the kind of family she has, a woman like that goes, what a serious party, no, what a serious gathering, what a serious funeral. Everybody came. Those who came to chitty chatter, there they were. Those who came to lie and talk, there they were. Those who came to drink and get drunk, there they were. Those who came to cry and mourn, there they were. Those like Baden who had their rum and whiskey, there they were. Those who had rum punch, there they were. They all came. Those who came to drink mampama, palm wine, there they were. They came, they gathered. I mean, so many of them. Guess what? The funeral was such that they even invited somebody all the way from England, and they came like this. We will rock you. We will rock you. I mean, they came from all over. And these people, they ate, they drank, they ate, they drank, they ate, they drank. The food finished. More people were coming. And they thought, hey, wait a minute. What do we do? How do we what do we do now? How do we feed all these many people that are coming? And somebody came and said, hey, wait a minute. The lady, she has got a cow. And they thought, of course she has a cow. So they went backyard. They grabbed hold of cow, boofed to the ground. As they put the knife, mouse came out. You see? You see, cow? You see what I was telling you? It is the trap that caught the lady. She is dead. Now you two are going to die. And by the time you know it, it was the most delicious cow kebab you ever tasted. It was, everybody had a blast of a time. Well, everybody scattered again. Karimiaki gold instead market, not a quality won't sell. Karimiaki gold instead market, not a quality won't sell. Oh, what a bite, not a bite, not a quality won't sell. Oh, what a bite, not a bite, not a Saturday night. Karimiaki gold instead market, not a quality won't sell. Karimiaki gold instead market, not a quality won't sell. Oh, what a day, not a bite, what a Saturday night. Oh, well, again, I don't know how you do it where you are, but back in Sierra Leone, where this woman had passed away, everybody came together again 40 days after the lady had passed for the 40th day ceremony to say goodbye to her. Because according to them, even Jesus walked around the earth for 40 days. So they said, we must celebrate this woman in following. Today is Sunday. Let us follow our Savior. 40 days, they came again together. Again, because they lift up the lockdown had been lifted. This time, for the 40 days, more people came. This time, all the flights were coming in now. So they flew from different places and they came. They gathered. They ate. They drank. They ate. They drank. Hey, and guess who? Somebody special was invited to this party as well. Don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. You don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. I mean, they all came, and as they ate, they drank, they ate, they drank, the food finished. Who are we going to get to bring more food for us? Where are we going to get more food? And somebody came out and said, wait a minute, oh, the lady, she has a goat. Oh, and they went backyard. They grabbed hold of goats, moved to the ground. As they put the knife, sorry, all of you vegetarians, out came the mouse. It says, you see, goat? You see what I was telling you? It is the trap that caught the snake that bit the lady. She is dead. Cow is dead. Now you two are going to... Ikubolaje. In case you don't understand this, what I'm telling you, it was the most delicious goat hamburger ever tasted. Everybody had a burger each of goat inside of it. It was delicious. And now everybody is sitting back now and they are thinking, eh? ah, this is very delicious. I wonder who's going to drop next. It was while they are thinking, wondering who is going to drop next when one relative, this relative, he was stuck. He was stuck all the way somewhere in Madagascar and he couldn't get his flight to come on time because his papers were not correct. And by the time he got his own flight to sort out his papers, he arrived late for this funeral. And they say, hey, what are we going to do for this special stranger that has been away for so long? What are we going to do? Eventually, as they're sitting down thinking, somebody came out again. Hey, wait a minute, oh, the lady, she's got a chicken. They grabbed hold of chicken, moved to the ground. As they put the knife, sorry, vegetarians, out came the mouse. You see, chicken? You see what I was telling you? It is the trap that caught the snake that beat the lady. She is dead. Cow is dead. Goat is dead. You two are going to every little thing is gonna be all right. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be all right. One after the other, they went. The funeral was all done. Well, at the end of the day, Bob Marley says, rain does not drop on one man's doorstep. One person's problem is equally our own problem. And together, all of us as storytellers, we can make a change. We can change the narrative of the societies that we live in and make it a narrative for so much more cohesion, like we're doing right here, right now. Well, people always ask me, they say, cow footprints, what happened? What happened to Mouse? Where is he? What happened to Mouse in the garden? Well, every day, Mouse would sit down. He would sit underneath a coconut tree in the garden. Mouse would grab the coconut, break it open, and Mouse would nicely have some coconut juice. And as he soak his throat, Mouse will sing. Oh, pirate, yes, the robber, sold I to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took her from the bottomless pit. But my hands were made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing? The songs of freedom is all I ever had. You answer it for me. Redemption song. And you know, that is precisely what we're looking at. Redemption. And we got to work together. All right. I have a few minutes left before I go off. I want to see if I can share one more story with you. short one, and I will leave the floor open to anybody who might have a question you might want to ask me. Again, I say in, and you give me out, in, out, in, out. Since I can't hear you all, I'm just pretending I'm hearing you. In, and I'm out. Thank you very much. Well, there was an okra plant in the middle of this garden. And it is said that nobody must touch that okra plant. Nobody. But this okra plant was so long, it was so tall, it goes all the way up into the sky. Nobody was allowed to touch this okra plant or to pluck an okra. Well, as it happens, there was a woman who says it does not matter. She wants to cook okra soup for her husband. And as you can hear the dog shouting in the background, the woman, she says she has to cook okra soup so she can feed that dog in the background. And the dog just kept barking. And the woman says, you know what? No matter what, I am going for it. So she called her husband out. Husband. And the husband came out. Yes. Well, as the husband came out, she says, husband, please hold on to this axe. I want you to cut down this okra plant because I want to cook okra soup for you. And the husband held on to the axe and he started chopping. And as the husband chopped down this okra plant, a branch fell off. When the branch fell off, something magical happened. The branch turned into a young boy. And they looked at this young boy. They say, young boy, what are you here for? What is it? What did you bring, young boy? And the boy says, me that you see here, my only reason for being here is to eat. He says, please, you people, give me something to eat. I want to eat. And the woman thought, hey, what do I do? So the woman, she went and she cooked a little, just a reasonable bowl of bulgur. And they brought it for the boy. And the boy sat down. Within 2 minutes, everything was gone. And the boy says, look, I want to eat. Please, you people, get me something to eat. And they're thinking, hey, what do we do? So the woman, she called her neighbor and they cooked a huge sack of rice. I mean, 25 kilos. They cooked it all. They put it and the boy came. He says, look, me, as you see, I'm ready to eat. And he started again. In a short moment, everything was gone. And the boy went and says, look, please, mama, I want to eat. Me, my only reason, I want to eat. Please give me some more food. And the woman thought, hey. And this time they went to the whole village. And you can hear the people shouting in the background as they went to them to say, this is the boy. And everybody is saying, hey, what kind of boy is this? They were all shouting. They were shouting in Brazilian language. They were shouting in Spanish language. They were all shouting as you can hear them. And they said, what do we do? And this time, they came out with a huge truck load of rice. And they cooked it all. And the boy, he came again. And within a short time, everything finished. They said, what do we do? And they said, well, you know what? This boy, it looks like we've got no way to do this boy. So what they did, they managed to get this boy a visa. And as they got him a visa, they sent him to Europe. But when he came to Europe, there they did not feed him. They watched him and they watched him. And it is from this boy that they learned to make the machines that you can see churn up food, blenders, and all those machines that can mix food. It is from this boy that he learned how to make all those machines. So there you go. That is an African technology that came over here. Let me leave it there for now. That was just one of these funny stories that is usually told to us when we are back home. And they'll give us this thread of the story. It might not lead anywhere whatsoever, but it just continues on. And we, in my culture, among the Limbas, they tend to say that many stories have come from this one okra plant. All right. And this okra is so sacred that everybody who goes to cut it, there's something that will come out, a story will come out. And sometimes when we sit down at night to tell stories, my uncles will come out with this okra plant. And the moment they come out with the okra plant, we know we're in for a very long night. because there'll be branches falling off all the time, and with stories and stories coming out of it. Okay, but that's where I'm going to hold it for now, unless if there's any questions or discussions anybody want to contribute here. Thank you. Now I'll put my headphone on so I can hear you all, and I'll come a bit closer to you. All right. So give me a second. Let me put my headphone on so I can so that I can hear you all. Please give me a second. I can hear you all, and I'll come a bit closer.
Thank you.
All right, 1 second. 1 second. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, can you hear us now?
I can hear you all loud and clear.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Just the one bit of sound check we didn't do was drum and voice together, and of course when you put the two together, it tended to disappear a bit. But all in all, it all came through. It was great.
Fantastic. That's good. Good. Well, I'm pleased. Okay.
I have one question for Usifu, and he knows what it is. Usifu.
Yes.
Where is my cowrie shell? Where is my one cowrie shell?
The lockdown is getting milder now. I'm going to post it.
That was fantastic. That mouse story, you ruined it for me. I have a version of it that I like to tell. I think I've told it for the last time after today.
Yeah, it's a great story. The same story appears all over the world, but I just love that randomness you took out in the middle when you went for that, from my old man to Dustman through to Jamaica farewell.
Brilliant.
I think because I do like spontaneity in stories, and because that's how I grew up. My people in Sierra Leone were incredibly spontaneous in how they would tell a story, and there's no one straight path in this story, and so everybody is included. Everybody, one way or the other, or everything, a bench, anything around will be included in a story like spontaneously. And I think that is his style, which I have adopted in my stories. So for as much as I've told this story a gazillion of times, it's just not the same every single performance. And so it makes it more exciting for me, and it makes it, I guess, for the audience, it feels fresh all the time. And Brother Baden, please tell the story. I'd love to hear your version of this story.
Not today.
So the okra tree, does that, is that, so with the stories you were talking about, your uncles, would that happen spontaneously? Would you just be at a gathering and someone would start telling a story an okra tree story because it's a way into the story.
Yes, yes, yes. Now the song, there's a song that goes with it which I didn't do. The song usually, you know, my uncles will start off with tapelonto boroko tapelonto moremale tapelonto ha tapelonto moremale tapelonto boroko tapelonto moremale tapelonto ha tapelonto moremale, and that tapelonto, that means I'm cutting. Malonto is the okra. Tapelonto, I'm going to cut the okra plant. So as soon as that song starts, everybody knows we're going now for a very long night, and it's about the okra plant. So that is a very typical way some stories will start. They will start with this song, and so you know where we're going, and then the story comes along. You see, so it is all the children. If there's many children around, everybody is primed for what's coming. Now, and with the stories per se, you have some where like, you know, you have a man who came to chew, you have a boy who came to eat, and even all of these, there's songs that go with the eating and everything, which I did not necessarily do today. You have some boys who came to fish. You have a woman who came just to wash clothes, like to launder clothing. And what they would do with those stories is they will link those stories to Europe, and they will say that's where the Europeans learn how to do this or that. Like the woman who would wash clothes, she was sent again to Europe, and again, that's how Europeans learned to build a washing machine. You know, and the boys who fish, that's how the Chinese learned to come out with these trawlers and fish everywhere. And and this is series of these stories, and these are, and they're really, really old stories, but so entertaining and so much fun. The only meaning many of them would have is what you make out of it, and it is that open.
Yeah, so it's kind of like where the endings is that traditional thing of that is, which appears well throughout the African continent, isn't it? Where the punchline is, and that's why, and it's like a punchline of a joke, but and that's why is like the punchline.
You know, you see, we have a story, and I've never told this story before, but it's one of my favorite stories again, which I've hardly told it because maybe I've not had the opportunity, but and also it's about the context as well. There is in Africa, I don't know if it's the same, I don't know how it's been in England, but in England you have a sickle, right, that they used to harvest with. Am I correct?
Yeah, the side, the big one, the
big one, yeah, the side, right? They used to harvest with that. Now in Sierra Leone, we had a cutlass, a machete. We had a machete, and would harvest with the machete. And in the Caribbean, you've also got machete as well that you do, whether you harvest in sugarcane. Well, now there's a reason why today you have to hold onto a machete. You know, for a person has to hold onto a machete for you to go and harvest. There was a time when you never had to go and hold onto a machete. The machete just goes to the farm and walks by itself. It was simple. You go, you put the machete down. If you want to sharpen it, you put a stone and you just go laila kara, 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 and that's it. It's sharpened, and then you leave it to go and work. But when it's working, you must always remember when it's time for food, you must call that machete to come and eat with you. And you must remember the word to call the machete back. You must call it, you say, mahikodo, 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 mahikodo. And the machete will come and sit and eat with you. When the machete goes to work, there's a song that goes with it. Na sugu soto waiwa so wai toron so wagila so wagila so wagila so wai toron so wagila na sugu soto wai so wai toron so wagila so wagila so wagila so wai toron so wagila na sugu soto wai so wai toron so wagila so wagila so wagila so wai toron so wagila. And that is the song you will sing. And then as soon as the food comes, go mahikodo, 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 the machete will come. Or how do you call the thing again?
Side. Yes, side.
The side will come and then will eat with you. But then that was chameleon.
who figured how to do this. You know, chameleon is slow, so he's not as powerful. So he knew how to work with the machete. And then, if you heard the loud motorbike that is passing by, do you know who that was? That was Anansi. Anansi the spider, we call him Wosi. He came. When Anansi Wosi, when he came, he saw chameleon. He saw how chameleon's farm was wonderful. He says, chameleon, how do you do it? Chameleon says, well, I do it with my my cutlass, and he helps me. And Nancy says he parked his bike, his Harley Davidson. He parked it in the corner. And he says, wait a minute, you know, I mean, how do you do this thing? Come on, you got to show me, man. You got to show me what you do with a machete for it to work for you, you know. All this automation. Please show me how do you do it. Chameleon thought, you and Nancy, I know you. You are something else. And Nancy says, look, man, look, can you see my Harley Davidson? How do you think I can mess things up? I cannot, it's impossible. I've got a reputation to keep, you know. And so Chameleon told Spider, he says, this is what you do then. You must make sure you remember, when you want to sharpen the machete in your farm, you must go, laila kara, laila kara, laila kara, laila kara. Spider says, oh, easy. He said, but you must also remember, when the food comes, you must call the machete back. And you must call the machete mahikodo, 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 so that the machete will come and eat with you. Spider says, easy. That's something easy. I can remember that one. And you must also remember, when he goes to the farm, now sugusugusoto wai so wai toron so wagila so wagila so wagila so wai toron so wagila. And of course, Anansi, he jumped on it and he went straight away to the farm. He packed his Harley Davidson by the side. He says, today it is AI day. The new technology is here. And he put his AI machete. And he went, laila kara, and the machete sharpened, laila kara, laila kara, laila kara, laila kara. And by the time you know it, the machete got to the farm. Now, so wagila, so wag, toron, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wag, toron, so wagila. Now, so wag, so wag, toron, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wag, toron, so wagila. Now, so wag, so wag, toron, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wag, toron, so wagila. Oh, I'm telling you something here. That machete was working. The food came. As soon as the food came, Spider started eating. And as he ate, he forgot to say mahikodo. He's eating, and meanwhile, the machete is going on. Now, so wagila, so wag, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wag, so wagila. The machete finished walking in the whole farm. And now the machete got into the village. And he started brushing all the houses down. Now, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila. And the machete was now taking down all the houses. I mean, he went, even Westminster, he went to Big Ben. He was cutting down Big Ben. Now, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so. And by the time he knew it, the machete had gone all the way to America, and he was right there at the Washington Monument, and he was chopping it down. Now, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so. He did not live there. He went to India, and when he got to India by the Taj Mahal, he was cutting down the Taj Mahal. Now, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so wagila, so. It did not leave India alone. It flew. It came all the way over to Italy, straight to the Vatican. He started cutting. Now, so meanwhile, Spider was still eating. He had forgotten to say mahikodo, so he could call. And it was then that everybody saw the disaster that is happening. They said, hey, this is trouble. What is going on? They went and they met Chameleon. They said, Chameleon, what is going on? Chameleon says, oh, Spider. Oh, I didn't know Spider has a problem. Spider, too greedy. He has forgotten to say the word. He ran, he met Spider and says, yo. So eventually Chameleon called. He says, mahikodo. And the machete stopped chopping down everything. And he came again and sat down. And since that day, the machete says, you know, you human beings, you left me hungry and I chopped all over like this. I will never walk AI again. Now you have to hold me with your own hand if you want to brush the farm. Otherwise, I will never do it again. And so that's where we are. AI is taking over. Or maybe, who knows, we might come back to analog. I don't know. So,
Brilliant. Yeah.
Oh man, well, it's been a great evening. It's
yeah.
been a wonderful evening.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. I'm really glad that you're doing this. It's if there's ever a time that people need stories and narratives, this is it now more than ever. And I'm glad that you all are doing this. Thank you all so much for inviting me to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being in our front room with your
Thank
gun.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you.
Thank you. Hisham, Anis, thank you for joining.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All
Great
right,
stuff.
take care. See you all.
See you.
Zuha.
See you soon.
Right,
All
before we
right.
go, you need to know how many countries
Abdul.
you need to know how many countries you were talking to. You didn't have many. It wasn't. We didn't have 1,000 people in the room, but we did span the globe. We went from Morocco to Canada, America, England. So that's kind of a, amongst 12 people, that's a good mix.
That's good. So here, it's great to see you, Abdu. It's great to see you all, and thank you, Mike Wood. It's great to see you all.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Lizzie, thank you. See you all.